Hello, hello, hello. I am here. This is Krisha. This is Worthiness Wednesday. I hope you guys are well. I am just going into my group now and making sure that I'm on here live. There I am. Okay, awesome. Yay, I'm here. I'm here and I'm here. Very cool. All right, everybody. Welcome to Worthiness Wednesday, and a truck just pulled up, so I'm going to take you with me for a quick second here and close my door. I love where I live, but they do a lot of landscaping, and so it's quite noisy sometimes. So, hello. I'm Krisha Young. My clients call me a mind unfucker and divine sex goddess, but I am here to help women cultivate and have healthy relationships, starting with the one with yourself, right? Welcome to my group, and in today's live stream, I'm going to cover really all about everything about intuition. This is a big thing that I have learned myself over the years, how to trust myself. It wasn't easy. There were a lot of times that I didn't. And this is a big part of the work that I do with my clients. So when I'm working with somebody one-on-one, whatever it is that they're coming in for in terms of relationships or self-worth or self-love or anything like that, it always boils down to like getting them back to the truth, what's true for them, and hearing their own voice. And I very rarely will give advice. Mostly my coaching is all about like, well, what do you think? Well, what do you want to do? And helping these women really fine tune that ability, because we all know we have a voice inside of us that is our intuition, but it can be really hard to like decipher this. So I'm going to break all this down for you today. So and so the first thing is, not listening to yourself is a form of self-betrayal, right? I mean, how badly does it hurt when we don't listen to ourselves? It's painful. Intuition is so confusing. So how do you listen to the right voice? And if you see me looking over, it's just because I've got notes, so I stay on track, not waste your time with babble. When you trust yourself, how do you know what trusting yourself or listening to your intuition looks like, feels like, tastes like, smells like all the time? I bet you have experiences where you have listened to yourself. You have, heard that voice and followed that voice and trusted yourself, but it's not consistent, and there might be certain places in your life where it's inconsistent for you. So like maybe in relationships, maybe, depending on where you are in your relationship spectrum, maybe there's things that are coming up for you over and over and over again, and you're just like, damn, I don't know why this keeps resurfacing, and you're having a difficult time connecting with that inner voice, because usually relationships is where our patterns and all of our stuff show up, right? So we're going to be breaking that down today. And the last thing is one thing that you can do. So there's one little takeaway for today. So if you are here live, say hello, do hashtag live so I know that you're here. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. If you have questions or comments, please do not hesitate to put them in the chat box. I love questions, and I will do my best to answer them for you. If you need something a little bit more personalized, then you can send me a DM. So just to recap a little bit about my coaching, I work on this subconscious blind spot, hidden areas within an individual. So what, from a spiritual level or an intuitive level, what I do with people is I connect higher self to higher self. And when I'm hearing somebody speak to me and tell me their story or whatever is going on with them in their lives, I have the ability to be able to hear on two frequencies. And so what I'm hearing is the words that are coming out, and I'm hearing something else as well. And so I can very quickly and very easily pick out what's the pattern, what's the story, what's the thing that's not true, that feels like it's the truth. And what is the actual truth? What is her higher self actually trying to say? And what that does is it enables my clients to really be able to bust through these blocks, because we know they're blocks. We know it's BS. But there are ones that are so sticky and they feel so true. And it's like, but you don't understand. But you don't understand. This thing keeps happening and I'm doing all the things and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, girl, I gotcha. And let's look around the corner. Let's peek behind that and see, where's the truth in that? Where's your truth in that? Who are you? What do you want? What do you need? And I'm telling you, we are not taught this shit anywhere. And it is a critical life skill to know thyself and to know the difference between that obnoxious loud voice and your intuition, especially as a woman. This is our frickin' superpower. So I'm very, very, very excited about today's talk. So remember, hello, hashtag live, hashtag replay. Let me know you're here, and I am going to get started, okay? So, intuition's confusing, right? How do you listen to the right voice, right? It took me quite a few years before I started to really see the difference between those two voices. And even to this day, every once in a while, that old programming will come in and I'll be like, wait, that's not true. And I can feel and sense the difference now. And the more I take action from my actual spirit, soul, high self, intuitive, whatever you want to call it, space, the better my life has become. And the more confidence I have and the more I trust myself. So this is what I want for you too. This is exactly what I want for you. Because this is how you manifest like your life. This is how manifesting works. It's the secret ingredient that's missing in it is the trusting yourself and listening to the right voice. So what you're manifesting is something that you really truly want and will have that staying power and be like so freaking juicy and amazing. So I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay, so before we get to how do you listen to the right voice, let's look at the consequences or even sometimes catastrophic outcomes of not listening. And I'm going to share with you a personal story that happened to me in the dating realm that really like hurt a lot because I didn't listen to my intuition. So not listening to your intuition, listening to the judge or the pattern or the saboteur, whatever you want to call it, your inner child even, it reinforces your lack of worthiness, right? It contributes to self-doubt. It causes you to feel confused. So any kind of confusion that you're experiencing around a situation where like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. I want to move forward. I know I want to do this thing, but I don't know how, blah, blah, blah. That is because you're not listening to the right voice. And so you're in conflict within yourself. And maybe you end up entering into toxic relationships over and over and over again. This could be like a romantic relationship or with friends or colleagues or anything like that, right? Like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So this shit shows up everywhere. And you never leave that vortex of the pattern that keeps you going for the same guy, the same relationship, the same kind of friends, the same kind of work, whatever, right? Or you have the same arguments in your existing relationships or whatever, like wherever you've got this disharmony in your life, it's because you are not you're not listening to the correct voice. And this is why it hurts so much, because you're betraying yourself. Like it really truly is a very deep form of self-betrayal. And this is why it's so freaking painful. When you trust yourself, you feel like you can breathe. There's like this weight that's lifted. There's like a sense of freedom. You walk differently. You're more confident. You feel balanced. And so you end up balancing out yourself from, a spiritual, emotional, physical place. When you're not listening to yourself, what happens, I put a post about this last night on my personal page. There's such disharmony in your body that it's literally like there's a war going on in there, and it's shouty, it's screamy. You don't feel physically good. That is literally your intuition, your higher self slapping you upside your face making you feel like a crazy person because you're listening to the wrong thing. This is multi-layered, but when you start to see the different layers of your psyche and have that mind-body connection at a very deep level, you can start to see how this plays out. So when you are trusting yourself over and over and over again and listening to your intuition, you feel peace, like happiness. It's literally that holy grail that we're after, right? Is that inner peace, is that calm, is that feeling of groundedness and centeredness and knowing and trusting, right? You make decisions differently. So you're less impulsive and more confident in the decisions that you're making. All right. So the decision itself might be a fast decision or a slow decision. The amount of time for you to make the decision doesn't really matter. Some people have emotional authority, which is a human design term, and you need to have a longer period before you're making a decision. Some people are sacral or splenic, and the decision can be and should be instantaneous. However, it's not impulsive because you know what is true for you. You know what's right for you, rather than like, yeah, I'll go and do that. And it's like, oh shit, why did I agree to that? Because it was impulsive. You trust what or who to put in your body. You understand your needs in a relationship from your partner, and you can decipher what is attachment or codependency, right, from what is a true need. So sometimes we can sit there in a relationship and we're like, well, I need this, and why isn't he doing that? And, I can't find a guy who does this, and blah, blah, blah. All that shit is codependency. It's attachment, and you don't know it, right? Or maybe you know it a little bit, but it's not fully separated yet for you. And so you think that you're asking for what it is that you want or need or whatever, and it's not. It's a pattern. It's part of your inner child looking for something. And so when you can start to trust yourself more, those kinds of issues in relationships start to go away, providing the other person is doing their work too. And this is the most tender part. Not trusting yourself can really make you feel bad, right? It can really, really make you feel bad. And, I've had clients, and even like there's been times where I've been like, what's the point? What's the point of this? Because I felt that I had been betraying myself at such a deep level and couldn't see how to get out of it. I couldn't see how to make better decisions for myself, because, now that I know, looking back, it was literally just me not trusting myself. And I'm going to say hi again to anybody who's joining live. I can't really tell on here. So if you are here and you're liking what I'm saying, give me a thumbs up or a heart or something so I know you're here. So we've got a little bit of a two-way thing going on here. Hashtag live if you're watching live. Hashtag replay if you are on the replay. So, hi Anna, hi. See, now that makes me feel good. I know I'm not just talking to myself. Good to see you, love. Thank you so much. Oh, hey Rick, good to see you. Awesome. Hey, I'm a happy girl now. Well, I was happy before, but now I'm happier. I'm so easy to please. All right, so how do you know what trusting yourself looks like, right? So how do you even start? You think, hey Caroline, hi honey. You think it's your intuition you're hearing, but her voice sounds like your brains or your heart, right? So it's thinking, or it's maybe attachment stuff, which is what I just said in that last part, right? Your intuition can be really hard to hear, especially when it comes to relationship and love stuff. Like, man, that is our biggest teacher, really. And you probably have really good intuition when it comes to certain things. Like, you might be like whip smart in business, or whip smart in your skill set, whatever it is. You've got areas in your life where you just know, you trust that knowing, and you go, right? We're looking at here where you're not doing that. So this isn't a blanket statement to say that everywhere, all over in your life, you're a mess, and it's not that at all. You're a very capable, very intelligent person, but there's this one place or two places or something where it's like, fuck man, like I don't know why this thing keeps happening. I don't know why I keep repeating the same pattern or whatever. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you're literally just not listening to the right voice in that circumstance. And usually this is showing up in relationships because, like I said, it's their biggest teacher. Yeah, so let's say you're dating somebody new. Here's a little scenario here, right? This has just recently happened to a client of mine. So you're dating somebody new. Maybe your intuition was coming up and saying like, no, red flag or whatever, like giving you something. But all you heard was, oh my God, we're soulmates. Oh my God, he's the one. Oh my God, he's my guy. A friend of mine and I were talking about that too. Like just that, you know, are you my guy? Are you my guy? Especially when you're in that state of, you know, like looking for that person in your life. But you're not listening to the game plan. So your intuition will come in and give you the game plan. Hold off, wait, you know, something, whatever your intuition tells you. And we ignore that part because it's not serving the narrative that we want to play out here. And it's often much quieter and, you know, we can't really hear it and we don't trust it. So next thing you know, like you're on, you know, like it doesn't work out for some reason. And it's that looking back and going, oh my God, I knew it. And this other voice is way louder, right? It's an obsessive voice. It's very, very, very loud that, oh my God, is he my soulmate or whatever? It takes over, it's in your face, it's way louder. So it can, if you're not trained or in tune with your intuition, then it can be really, really difficult in order for you to hear it, okay? And if you've been ignoring it for a really long time, it's barely there. It's like, dude, like she's sitting in a cave going, oh my God, like, are you ever going to use me again? Like what? So cultivating that is important. All right. So I wrote a post yesterday and I shared a story and I said, you know, how painful it was. Basically, I'm in this new hot and heavy relationship, right? And it really was great. Like I thought, oh, wow, you know, this guy's amazing. But something happened. There was I found out something about him and he was being honest. So there was no lying or anything like that, but I found something out about him. And I sat back with this new piece of information and I'll never forget it. I was like, I should break up with him right now and stop where we're going and wait and reconvene in like a month or so when he's got this little piece of his life sorted out. Because if I don't, I know myself enough to know that that obsessive thought loop is going to come in and it's going to send me in some sort of tailspin with this. And I don't want to be there. Like I want to be in something that's healthier, and I've got too many other things going on to be looped up in this. So I heard all of that and clear, and I didn't follow it. And I didn't follow it because I listened to the other voice more. And I was shocked at myself for doing this. And of course, what ended up happening is I kind of brushed that thought away and the intuitive thought and kept going into the relationship. And it was good. It was great until it wasn't. And then it broke down. And the relationship broke down in a way that was incredibly heartbreaking and very painful. And I was sitting in the aftermath of that, and I was like, I was so like understanding of how much I had betrayed myself. I wasn't mad at him. I mean, I was, but I wasn't, because I knew that was on me. I knew that was on me. And it was because I literally had not trusted myself, what I knew. And it was so conscious and so clear that that would have been a better decision. And so there was an avoidance of pain in that, because I didn't want to break up with him. I really liked him and he really liked me. And it was real. And there were a lot of really amazing positives to it. So there was that piece of it there, that if I did end it, it would have been painful. It would have hurt. But the difference is, because I didn't listen to my intuition, not only did I have in that pain there, the breaking up with that person at the beginning would have been pain, but the pain that I had experienced later on, after the relationship ended in such an abrupt way, was 10 times more painful, because of the lack of self-trust, because of the knowing that I could have or should have made a different decision, right? It was like, I knew it. I knew it. And I needed to heal that. So not only did I need to heal and mourn the ending of the relationship, which, had a lot of really beautiful potential, I also needed to really, truly heal that part of me that betrayed myself. It was self-betrayal, 100%. And it was at that point that I vowed to myself that I would never not trust myself again. And so I have been working with a sankalpa. So a sankalpa is, it's like a spiritual mantra that is very tied to something. It's not like an affirmation or a thing you're manifesting. It's something that you are creating as an embodiment for yourself, right? So my sankalpa after that was, I trust myself unconditionally. And what that meant was that I needed to continuously follow that voice, the one that I had been cultivating for the last several years, to bring her out and trust her. It's my higher self. And so a few months ago, I got her name. It's Arena. And I've been listening to that and trusting that. And I have, all of the different parts of my psyche available for me to see, which has allowed me that conscious awareness so that I can cultivate this for myself, right? And it was a lot of work to get here, a lot of work to get here. But now that I'm here, it's beautiful. And it really has brought a deep level of inner peace to myself that I just could not get before because I wasn't listening. So that sankalpa is, I trust myself unconditionally, right? And when I remember when I first started learning about this stuff, I just wanted to cry. It was so frustrated, right? I wanted to hear my intuition, but that thought loop that I talked about in the first video was so obsessive. It was so loud and really, really confusing. So what happens is, we think that we're trusting it, right? Then it all goes to hell. This is the other trap that we can get into, is that we think we're trusting our voice. We think we're listening to our intuition. And that's the other thing, is like, if you're not sure which one's your intuition, or it's what I call the lie that feels like the truth. It literally feels like you are listening to yourself, like you are listening to your intuition, but then all hell breaks loose and you're just like, what happened here? And you have nobody to talk this out with. That's part of the problem that happens with people, is that they do not have anybody that they're working with who can help, or in their lives or whatever, that can help them listen to themselves. And like, your friends can't help because they might be in the same boat, so they're just sitting there commiserating. Or you might have people who in your life who are there to give you wisdom and advice, but they're not teaching you how to listen to yourself. Very few people do this. And I've been in the coaching industry now for years. And I have been coached by many, many, many people and have lots of coach friends, and I've been in this industry for so long. Um, it's very rare to find someone who gets you to listen to yourself and to hear yourself, right? It's very advice based or whatnot, or they're projecting their own stuff or whatever, right? So you need to be, this is why it's really important for you to cultivate this, because um, like I had a really bad experience with a coach in 2018, um, because I wasn't listening to myself. I was really good at listening to the psychic hits, but I wasn't good at trusting myself. And I put all my authority out on her. And like, what do I do? And followed that, even though my intuition was screaming at me not to, and everything blew up in my face in the end, of working with her in that environment, and it was awful. And so that was like another incident, but that was a long time ago, so that was like way further removed from the other story I just told you. But you need to know what your higher self is saying and trust that. And you don't want to feel jaded and bitter because you're constantly looking back and being like, "Ugh, I knew it, I knew it." Like that just increases that level of like, you know, beating yourself up, right? And we don't want you to beat yourself up. Um, yeah, so you want to hear the voice of your higher self, not the patterns. You're going to hear the patterns anyway, but you want to be able to decipher. And that's what I mentioned to you before, is the lie that feels like the truth. So I'm just going to go back here. All right. Hello to whoever is on here live. Thank you for your patience as I moved from my phone to back on here. I am almost done. If you have any questions or anything like that, or comments, please don't hesitate to put them in the comment section. Hearts and likes are always a little way to say hello. So I'm going to go back to my notes here. And yeah, so if you don't have somebody in your life who can listen to yourself, and you don't want to keep repeating this pattern, and you're like, well, where do I even start with this? What you need is a trusted person to bounce this off of, right? To bounce whatever you're experiencing in your life that is confusing, where you're looping around, where you can't, like, you're trying the things and you're not really moving forward, and you're not trusting yourself to move forward, or you're not hearing your intuition. If this is something that you want to explore, then you want to do it with somebody who can help you with that specifically, right? And your friends aren't really qualified for this. And you don't, the other thing to make note of is that, you know, we can be very independent and feel like, well, I don't want to depend on somebody else to tell me what my intuition is. That's not what I'm saying here. So, what you want is to have that ability to be able to bounce an idea off of something that's neutral, and hear your own thoughts and have that reflected back to you. And in that, you're like, oh, that's truth. That's not truth. Holy shit, I see it now. And when you see that for yourself, I mean, I'm sure you've experienced this. And when you've seen this, when you see it for yourself, then you're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I can see what is the lie and what is the truth, and what I can hear now, and you get a sense of the flavor of what your intuition is. Um, you know, so I don't know if you know this about me, but I've actually experienced quite a bit of trauma in my life, and, you know, relationship breakdowns and so on and so forth. And every day I have the ability to allow Vicky, which is the voice of trauma, to that's my loud shouty voice, to take over my life. And she ruled my life for a really, really, really long time, and I couldn't see my higher self. I couldn't hear that part of me. um, and through the work that I have done, I've been able now to calm that part of me down, and, like I said before, really be able to follow that. And I'm not perfect, but I get up every day and I practice what I preach. And, you know, I'm willing to go through the fire over and over and over again in order to really be able to learn this and, you know, teach it to you so that you can take this skill set. Because You know, like I think at one point this was like some woo-woo thing. That it's like, you know, yeah, intuitive, psychic, all that. It is woo-woo. It falls under the woo-woo category, right? And if you don't know what woo-woo is, it's like that hippy dippy, you know? Like why is she making me feel all my feelings, man? And it has a bad rap, right? It's like that it is. It's like that hippie, whatever. And it's not. This is like literally the most crucial skill set that we can have from like right now and going into the future of where we're heading as humanity. We need, especially right now, we are bombarded at every freaking turn now with social media, with commercials, with advertisement. Like we can't get away from it. And when you have the disconnect between what is everybody else's and what is truly yours, it's a very confusing world out there, right? And like you you unconsciously follow what you don't actually believe. And then you're sitting there going, why did I do that? It's because you didn't fricking listen to yourself. So this is a critical skill set. It is not a nice to have. It is not maybe when, I'm like 93 and I don't have any responsibilities. No, this is a critical skill set that you need to learn now, in order for you to really be able to be of service, find and have the relationships that you really, really want, have like a lovely, amazing career, like all of the stuff that you are manifesting. This is a big part of it, right? Um, so yeah, intuition has a very different set of words to it, and I am a master at helping people with this. And my intention always, and it pisses my clients off when I do this, I don't give them the answer. And they're all like, Krisha, just tell me. I'm like, I can't tell you. Like, I know what the answer is, but I can't tell you what the answer is because it has to come from you. And that's the only way things get chunked in. I call it chunking in, or embodied, or understood, or transcended, is when you see it. It's the only way. And so sometimes they get mad at me and they're like, just give me the answer. And I'm like, no, dude. But then when they get it, they get it. And it's amazing. And then it's like, it's gone. That pattern is gone. It's really amazing. Um, so yeah, and then I guide them through how to do this on their own afterwards, right? So here's what I want to say. We need to get subconscious Sally, or for the dudes on here, subconscious Sam, I don't know, to calm the fuck down. And so that all-knowing Alice, or all-knowing Alex, can take the center stage and finally get you to stop repeating the same patterns, which can then bring Judge Judy or Judge Joe out to beat the shit out of you. Not on my watch. So I want you to, um, this came from one of my team members. Let's have your dreams come to fruition by listening to your intuition. It's true though. So if there's nobody in your circle, like really, who can professionally help you with this, and you believe that this is beyond the scope of what you already have on offer, then what I want to offer you is, and this is the one thing that you can do, is a 1 hour session with me where we can discuss any issue that you are currently struggling with, where if you're like, I know, like, oh my God, I would have totally taken this up if I was in that situation with that person that I was dating. Like, I know I'm not listening to myself, and be talked through that and get to my truth, because it's not just that. So here's the thing. It's not just getting to your truth. I mean, you might already know what your truth is, but maybe you're lacking what to say. Maybe you're lacking the courage to say it. Maybe you're lacking, like, there's other things there that are missing. Maybe the truth is a little fuzzy and you're not sure. Or maybe you know what the truth is, but you're like, I feel bad, because this is all rooted in rejection, right? And self-worth and all of that. And so maybe you need more help in the realm of, how do I tell somebody, or how do I follow this? How do I have the courage to actually follow the thing that my intuition is saying? That is the hardest part, really, is taking action on following the truth, and the part that most people struggle with. So I'd like to offer you a 60-minute conversation to help you walk through this with me, and to really listen to that right voice, and to take the right action plan, and then the will to actually carry it out. This is how you're going to build trust in yourself. So you'll get 1 to 2 things that you can do at home on your own afterwards. So there is no codependency built there. You are just, you're interdependent, and have a very clear indication of what that is, what to say, and the will to be able to move forward on it. Also, it's really, really important to do some body work exercises in order to move any of the gunk from your body, right? Because this stuff accumulates in our bodies, so we need to really move it through. So that's what I have on offer for you. And if you want to take it up, I'll put a link below. It is a paid session, not free, but totally freaking worth it if you're struggling here. So thank you so much for those of you who will be taking me up on this offer. Thank you for those of you who have been on here live and watching, and for anybody watching the replay. What I'll probably do is upload both of these, stitch it together, and have it as a YouTube, so that you can watch it all in one go, as opposed to like trying to find both videos. But I appreciate those of you who came back on. Thank you, Caroline, for coming back on. So again, I'm going to recap here real quick. Not listening to yourself is a form of self-betrayal. Not following through on it, not knowing what to say, all of that is self-betrayal. I shared that with you in the couple of stories about the coach and about that person that I was seeing, and it is hella painful, hella painful. Intuition is very confusing. How do you know which is the right voice, right? The lie that feels like the truth, right? When you trust yourself, you feel peace and calm. It's that holy grail we're searching for. How do you know what trusting yourself feels like or looks like all the time? Feels like, what is your flavor? And the one thing that you can do right now, I would say, is, come and have a session with me, man. And you will move through this very quickly, guaranteed, in 1 hour in a session with me. So thank you so much for those of you who have been on here live, watching the replay. I love you. I honor you. I appreciate you being part of my community. If you have any questions or any comments, please put them on here, and I will see you next week. All right. Bye for now. Mwah.